Programmers are interesting, to say the least. They have an immaculate ability to sit in a single chair for multiple hours a day, staring at the same screen, looking aimlessly for the one bug that's causing their runtime errors. Come to find out, he didn't add a semicolon where he should have. And that was the whole issue. Normal people like to categorize programmers into different types in an effort to understand them. So in this video, we're going to be going over 10 programmer stereotypes. The most common variant is the introvert. These are geniuses who still often live at their mom's house, and their paradise is isolation from people in the outside world, which is quarantine. He's a math savant who can actually program without needing any help from sites like Google or Stack Overflow, but couldn't hold a conversation to save his life. Extroverted people like Steve Jobs often use these nerds like Woz to get super rich. The introvert stereotype used to be 100% true when only they could fathom the complexity of computers pre-1990s. But now that programming has become more accessible to normies, a new class has emerged called the bro-grammer. His name is usually Chad, and this dude mostly partied in college, but still somehow managed to graduate with a computer science degree. He hardly has any real programming skills and refuses to test his code because testing is for losers. What he does have, however, are insane social and communication skills. This is annoying because I wish this guy would just shut up for a while. This variant eventually evolves into your boss, where he torments you with team building exercises and synergy meetings. The gearhead is related to the introvert, but is defined by the phrase, "If it's new, I must use it." When it comes to coding, he goes wherever the hype train takes him. He owns the latest M2 Mac, a hyper-expensive curved OLED monitor, the newest impossible burger meat in the fridge, and the latest smart lock to keep it all safe. It's said that this variant will be the first to sign up for a Neuralink chip, allowing him to write flawless code instantly. This may be true sometimes, but some programmers go the opposite route. The minimalist techie knows how dangerous tech can be, like when an intern pushed a really bad piece of code that virtually shut down the US economy for several days. Thanks, CrowdStrike. These guys would never purchase an Alexa because it spies on you to the government, and you never find them with smart appliances because the NSA probably has a backdoor. If you were to visit this programmer, you'd find a barren shack with an old Linux machine, a busted flip phone, gold that he's been collecting, and if you're unlucky, a gun barrel in your face. So far in this video, I've been using a lot of male terminologies because about 90% of the programmers today are male. What you may not know, however, is that in the beginning, women dominated the programming space. Many pioneers in the programming field were women such as Grace Hopper, who invented the first compiler, Kathleen Booth, who created the first assembly language, and Margaret Hamilton, the lead on the team who created the code for the Apollo moonlander, code that was written and executed so flawlessly conspiracy theorists try to use it as proof that we didn't actually go to the moon. Since then, code quality has decreased immensely. The codefluencer is the epitome of virtue signaling. After learning how to print "Hello World" in Python, they decided they were at the top of the programming food chain in their own head. Their next move, naturally, was to take to social media, where this person retweets and comments on programming tips and hot takes all day long. He mastered the art of supporting the current thing to the point where he landed a good job because he was a good culture fit. The hacker is able to open up a terminal, connect to some remote mainframe, and break all of its security protocols one by one with awesome fancy animations between each step. At least that's what people think hacking is like. In reality, hacking is detrimentally tedious and boring, and it's usually done by people with all the guns. Then you have the mythical 10x developers. These are the guys who code like Michael Jordan plays basketball. They are just some people with an inhuman ability to problem solve that goes well beyond anything we can imagine. You'll know you're around one when you feel both totally incompetent and jealous at the same time. I think the variant most of us want to be, however, is known as the lazy programmer. Normal people think he doesn't do anything. He sits on his computer all day, hitting the keyboard a few times, and when you actually look at his screen, it looks like he's just copying code. The secret, however, is that he's actually building $1 million side hustle so he can retire in his 30s. He also works remotely for $300K per year, but he eats microwave soup, shares an apartment with 4 roommates, and most of his clothes are either gear from tech conferences or stuff his mom gave him. Finally, you have the old jaded guy. He has long gray hair, a big white beard, and he only codes in C. Not C++, and definitely none of the hip garbage that you're using. As a matter of fact, he probably wrote the compiler for whatever toy language you're trying to learn. His knowledge transcends human ability, and legend has it that no one can face a jaded programmer's knowledge without perishing into the wind. This has been our presentation on programmer stereotypes. Which one do you fall into? Are there any that we missed? Let us know in the comments section. As always, leave a like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest content.